All right, Mr. Kohberger, you have an opportunity to make a statement if you wish to. I take it you are declining.
I respectfully decline.
Well,
When we deal with motive, the challenge is to express complex ideas simply. Well, in order to do that, we must understand the full complexity of a case, and that not only takes time, but the ability to integrate all the information in an authentic way and an accurate way. Well, we need to do that while drawing on other resources, including no small measure of informed intuition.
Why did you choose my sisters? Before making your move, did you approach my sisters? Detail what you were thinking and feeling. Before leaving their home, is there anything else you did?
Seemed to be an OCD type of situation.
It's so interesting, serial killers, how they just want to relive this. I mean, he went back to the scene of the crime after he committed the murders. I mean, why do you do that when that can get you caught? Because that's what serial killers, that's what murders do. And that's apparently what happened here when he was revisiting it in trying to put out evidence that the public didn't even know at the time. So yes, this goes a long way to explaining what happened. Also, remember, this guy was a devotee of serial killers. This guy was a doctoral student in criminology. So
Together, we're digging into the why behind the still missing evidence and the who the Kohberger might have been trying to become. Was this the work of a clean freak, a psychopath, or someone trying to engineer his own legacy by borrowing pieces from the monsters before him? Bundy's charm, BTK's precision, Norman Bates' silence, and Elliot Rodgers' warped manifesto. At some point you have to ask, was Bryan Kohberger trying to become the next great American serial killer, or just plagiarizing their playbooks and hoping to get away with it? Let's break it open.
Why November 13th?
And we've all wondered from the beginning why, because there was no connection between the two of them. It is possible he saw her and maybe had a brief exchange at a vegan restaurant where she worked. That's never been officially confirmed. But the police have said, at least in the Dateline special and elsewhere, they believe Maddie Mogen was his primary target. And that Kaylee
everything is really fitting together. We have, for example, there's another store, not just the vegan store, but there's a store, the Coog, in Washington near his school, where in fact Kaylee was in June celebrating her birthday right near her school, and the pings started happening in June. That's when her birthday was.
And there are many other things that point in that direction. I don't believe that he previously did. We have no indication of that whatsoever. But the personality type that appears to be present and the behaviors and motivations that seem to be present are those typical of somebody who, if not caught, would continue playing out that fantasy over and over again.
And, you know, I went and traced Kohberger's footsteps and, you know, the routes he drove that the police know about. And the only, you know, there's only one place you could park behind the house where they all lived on King Road in Moscow. And when you park your car there at this cul-de-sac at the back, the house is no longer there. But when it was there, you had a direct view really onto one person's bedroom, and that was Maddie Mogen. And in fact, I went there one time with a young woman and friend of theirs who lived next door, a woman called Lexi Pattinson, and she would say that she would come out to her car most evenings, because that's where she parked her car, and they all had the lights on, glaring brightly, never thinking that anyone would be watching from the road, and that she would see most evenings Maddie in the window at her vanity, curling her hair, you know, doing her makeup, and it used to make this young friend of theirs smile. And of course, she no longer was smiling when she thought that it appeared from the police report that Bryan Kohberger would have been sitting in his car watching the house at least 12 times.
Fear lingering with Ashling Couch after her friends were stabbed to death in their off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho, a home where she too once lived.
It crosses my mind more that could have happened while I was there. And you know, you never know like how long someone is watching your house.
Where is the murder weapon? The clothes you wore that night? What did you bring into the house with you? What was the second weapon you used on Kaylee?
And in fact, we even saw a potential signature element, which is something totally unnecessary for the commission of the offense, done only for psychosexual fantasy, which was taking the time to carve up the hamstrings of the male victim before leaving when he should have been getting out of Dodge. For those of us who are in the world of studying serial killers, we know that that was absolutely unnecessary beyond some kind of weird experimentation or hostility that a male messed up this sexualized fantasy, got in the way of the fantasy. So when we see those kind of signature elements and all of that, we start thinking this is a fantasy-driven thing, and you don't stop that.
Now, one of the things that I gleaned from reading the news supplements was, the statement where he says, "You're going to be fine. I'm going to help you." For me, I'm trying to think about motive here. And it sounds like it's very calculated, that he's almost playing out some fantasy that he's planned for at least 3 months, because that's how many times his cell phone pinged outside the house before the murders took place. So, what we have to kind of put together now is what would make him do this. And we know that he was part of the incel community based on his history, his internet history, as well as nihilistic fantasies and those websites. And
so I was scrolling through Bryan's Instagram and seeing who he followed, and I noticed this picture here of a person in the ski mask. Kind of continued to scroll through, and I caught another picture of a ski mask, and I realized it's the same name, so Faceless and Faceless just spelled differently, so I kind of assume it's probably 2 accounts, 1 person. So kind of got me thinking, though, about that Snapchat video that had been posted about 3:30 in the morning, allegedly in the vicinity where the murders happened on the night of the murder. So that just came to mind as I was going through, and the ski masks, caught my eye. And so I went back and I just kind of started looking into these. And so I started with this first one, and this is where it gets really interesting. So it brings us to this channel here. You can see the Faceless there. And so he's a content creator, and he's got some playlists and some different story videos and things like that. Again, I'm not saying this guy has anything at all to do with the crime. This is about what was Bryan following? What were his interests?
Did you truly think your Amazon purchase was untraceable because you used a gift card?
So the thing that caught my eye here was this third one where it says beats to scheme and plan crimes to.
How does it feel to know the only thing you failed more miserably at than being a murderer is trying to be a rapper?
And so, there's been a lot of talk about this crime having been thought out and planned before it was done. And I'll tell you, it just makes me wonder, is this the playlist that Bryan was listening to?
A professor in the DeSales Criminal Justice Department, Michelle Bolger, helped Kohberger with a research project. Now, this is one we've spoken about before, which she says is completely normal given the curriculum. So he said, research participation needed, and he posted this online. Hello, my name is Bryan, and I'm inviting you to participate in a research project that seeks to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime.
And something really interesting caught my attention. So as I'm reading through, I noticed this quote here, or this comment here where it says, legend says he never runs out of Goon tape. And so that Goon word really stood out to me because I just posted a video yesterday, and that video was a promo video that Bryan Kohberger had posted on his social media. And that promo video, at the end of the video, there's a logo that appears and it says Goon. And so when I saw Goon, it reminded me of that video.
Now, these were some of the questions in that survey. Did you struggle with or fight the victim? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving your home? Please detail what you were thinking and feeling at this point. How did you travel to and enter the location the crime occurred? After arriving, what steps did you take prior to locating the victim or target, i.e. the person or object? Please detail your thoughts and feelings. Why did you choose that victim or target over others? Before making your move, how did you approach the victim or target? Please detail what you were thinking and feeling. How did you accomplish your goal?
So I do a quick search. There's the logo from the video that Bryan Kohberger had posted. And here's the website of the company for Goon tape. So you can see the logo there. Bryan, for whatever reason, is a fan of Goon tape or is a customer of Goon tape. Because why would he post a video for their promo on his social media? Of the few things that he's posted, he would choose to post something about Goon tape. So what is Goon tape? So it's a grip tape, but their purpose, their design is for weapons. So I thought what you're all thinking right now as well. We're looking for a knife as a murder weapon. I bet you that the knife we're looking for has a handle that's wrapped in Goon tape.
And so what these women were and the man, were everything that he was not. They were popular. They had friends. Most of them had boyfriends or girlfriends, in which he didn't. He made statements to somebody at the university that he was desperate really for a girlfriend. Specifically, he used his position to try and unethically hit on women at the university. And so this almost seems like he is playing out some morbid fantasy.
And I assume Alice and I are better people than you guys, huh? Us weirdos. Would you do that to me?
I don't have any friends.
Well, if you did,
I don't think the kind of friends I'd have would mind.
I just want to tell each of you that I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't, and I will not. Because I think that's real shitty.
Your friends wouldn't mind because they look up to us.
Did you approach my sisters? Detail what you were thinking and feeling.
You're so conceited, Claire. You're so conceited. You're so, full of yourself. Why are you like that?
I'm not saying that to be conceited. I hate it. I hate having to go along with everything my friends say.
Then why do you do it?
You don't understand. You're not friends with the same kind of people that Annie and I are friends with. You just don't understand the pressure that they can put on you.
I don't understand what? You think I don't understand pressure, Claire? Well, fuck you! Fuck you!
How do you find it enjoyable to stargaze with such a severe case of visual snow?
And that is some serious concerns that he has and he's experiencing. When he refers to I have nothing, it basically just reinstates he's there, but he's not there. So there's something going on with him.
Some people tried to analyze whether he was nodding a bit, smirking a bit. Really, he just kept that blank expression. Do you think that his attorneys told him how to sit there and be during the hearing?
Quite honestly, I think Bryan Kohberger has no feelings. I think he is a sociopath and a psychopath, and he does not feel. But he needs control, right? So I think he honestly enjoys hearing people cry and say their loved ones are gone, and that may be why he pled. Also, what I think is ironic is, he was facing the death penalty, and he obviously took a plea to get that off the table. So he is presumably scared of dying, yet he killed 4 people. It's very ironic, and I the no motive, the no connection, the mystery around this case is very concerning, because still we have no answers really.